you've interviewed 450 people so far who have had to do part-time jobs before doing creative stuff full-ish time.
Yeah, isn't that every artist? I mean, it's pay to
No,
play.
it's not, because there's trust fund babies. So you can't have a trust fund baby on this podcast. No trust fund babies allowed on this pod, if that's the concept of the pod.
Well, there's a subtext to everything, right?
The trust fund baby subtext, or
Yeah, it's the subtext that if your parents are giving you money so that you can go on tour all the time and have all the time in the day to write a song,
right?
Then usually that comes out of the interview. And I have had people who have outed themselves on the show. Hey, it's not my role to tell people what they are. We can't make any. You can't assume.
You as a journalist, you should be exposing people, though. You need to be exposing the people that have a blue highlighted parents on their Wikipedia page.
Yeah, but I think they expose themselves.
Yeah. No, that you're doing it. You're giving them enough rope to hang themselves.
Exactly. Give them enough rope. That's it. You did community radio. Community Garden Radio is a great radio station in London. Community radio. You did it for how many years?
I started interning at an NPR affiliated station in like 2007 or so. And sort of continued from there. Before even that, I used to cook pizza at an Italian restaurant, cook and cut pizza every weekend, multiple hours a week. If I wasn't on the ovens, I was in the back doing dishes, cleaning out the walk-in cooler. I feel like in some respects I learned more about grinding there than I did like working in radio, because I mean that was a tough ass job. That was a nasty, crazy ass job.
And going in, being in food service, there's, you don't really have a second to kind of think for yourself and to even like think about anything. And I think as big music fans, I think once you stop doing something like that and you get a bit more time in your day, you're like, wow, I can really fill this up with listening to music.
No, it's actually the same in terms of like being in the pizza kitchen during, dinner rush. It's like this total mosh pit frenzy. And there's too much stuff to pay attention to. And just like in the world of music, it's this complete mosh pit frenzy, and there's stuff going on all the time. And there's too much stuff to pay attention to. On my first day working at the pizza place, there's like a scar on my thumb that you could see over there.
Oh yeah, that's still there.
Where I accidentally rolled the pizza cutter rolled the pizza cutter onto my thumb over someone's calzone. And then I bled all over their calzone, and then they had to throw the calzone away, and then we bandaged my hand up. First day on the job, freaking out, bleeding all over people's food, but I just stuck with it anyway, and I was like, no, I completely burnt out, and I was like, no way, man, I can't fucking work here. And then I ended up sticking with it. I got really nice under-the-table money for years and years. I ended up paying off my college loans with it. I saved up all the money that I worked under the table.
What?
At the pizza place to pay off my college loans.
Good on you.
Yeah. I mean, it was like really nice under the table money, and it was, and I was saving all of it. I wasn't like spending any of it.
You say under the table, is that tips? That's cash tips.
It's not tips. It's like it was tax free. I was not like, getting a properly sort of like signed off hourly wage. I was getting paid, just sort of like, just no tax.
Well, you're not the first person on this podcast to bleed all over somebody's food while serving it. Matt Maltese did exactly the same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, we share that in common.
When you doing those kinds of jobs, did it give you a kind of work ethic that you still have today? Did it teach you something? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, it sort of felt nice. It is as tough and as arduous as the job was. It felt nice to be able to sort of like feed people, give people something that they really want. It wasn't all just sort of a pain in the ass. You got to talk with the customers. You got to see people. I mean, the pizza that we made was really good. I think it's some of the best pizza in the place where I live. Yeah. And it was nice to be able to see some people during what is essentially like the highlight of their day. It's like I'm really, I've had a tough day, it's miserable, but one thing I'm looking forward to is this amazing pizza, and they're here to, get the thing they're looking forward to most. And, sort of giving people what they want in that sense, it sort of, I think, kind of prepared me to grind to just like push out this content as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's something in the needle drop about that. You're giving people something they want. People, when they get home from work, they're going to click onto your channel because they want to know about your thoughts on music. They want to hear from their favorite bands, hear about new releases. That's it, right?
Yeah, no, I would hope so. I would hope that's what they want. Either that, or they just want to get pissed off about some opinions. You know, when they go on the internet, just to break their day up.
Being a YouTube creator, I mean, I don't know when it started, probably sometime in the last 15 years, right? That people were doing it, being like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Doing that in music is a very new thing. And like, you're certainly like leading the pack there in terms of being like the figurehead of people, the person that people go to when they find out about new releases. What is it that has kept you going from the very start? Because of course, I mean, how many videos did you do before? I don't know, you got, I don't know, what's like an arbitrary number, like 20,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? There must have been enough times where you were like, well, if I give up, no one would know, no one would care.
Yeah, I mean, during the way I kind of gauge the timeline is really like how long it kind of took me to sort of like start doing it in a way where it was self-sustaining. You know, I think the needle drop started in some form or fashion in like 2007 as a podcast, and then it was maybe about 2011 that I was actually able to sort of like start working at the pizza place a little less and like start just doing more hours for myself. And then by 2012, I think it was like a full-time thing. And, you know, full-time meaning I was able to pay my rent with it, you know?
Within 5 years, that's pretty good going.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, you know, I wasn't like balling out on the YouTube money that I was making, but it was like it was a legitimate full-time thing.
To make you think, I'm going to carry on doing this.
Yeah. And prior to that point, I think every month I'd have an existential crisis about like at least, you know, 1 or 2 days a month. Like, what am I doing? What's the point of this? Why, you know? And I mean, to be fair, I still have that now. It's just maybe now every 6 months, you know? So, but I mean, simultaneously, while I'm sure that sounds like concerning or kind of lame to think for somebody who's in my position, I feel like that also kind of puts me in a place where I'm always thinking about like, are things getting stale? How can I improve stuff? Or how can I make sure I stay on top of my game so that I'm not slipping? Because the last thing I want to do, I mean, I guess I'd rather be in a position where I'm always questioning myself than be in a position where I'm complacent. And I'm just thinking like, oh, I'm just like the best, and you know, I'm just good, and I don't need to worry about doing what I do well or improving it anyway or changing things up or experimenting or, you know, venturing out of my comfort zone because I'm just great and everybody should just be convinced of my greatness because I am, you know, which I mean, that's like an unrealistic position to have, especially for somebody who's in my place. I mean, I know I've put in a lot of work to get where I am, and it took a lot of time and it took a lot of content and it took a lot of effort. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm just a guy with a fucking opinion, you know? Like, I'm not God's gift to anything. I'm only deserving of my position so long as I'm willing to work to maintain it. You know, it's not just like bestowed upon me automatically, even with all of the time and effort that I put in, you know? So, I mean, it's something that I have to work to be able to keep up.
Like Jake Phelps from Thrasher said, skateboarding owes you nothing. I think music owes you or me or anyone playing music owes us nothing.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I feel like maybe if you're the kind of artist who's maybe like put out a bunch of classics and you got some like, you know, game-changing records under your belt, maybe, you know, you're definitely in a position where you can rest on your laurels a bit, you know? I mean, I think there may be some more artists who should be doing that, you know? It's like, you know, Smashing Pumpkins, just play the hits, man. You know, it's like you don't need to torture us with those new albums. Just play those songs that we all love. You know, Kanye could be doing the same thing too, you know? So you don't got to come out with that Hitler record, you know? Just play College Dropout, man. It's totally cool. You could do that. It's, you know, there's some people who should be resting on their laurels a little bit, you know? You don't got to do any new Hitler stuff. So, you know, it's resting on your laurels is not always a bad thing, you know? Maybe one day I'll get to do it, but I don't think it's right now.
Just to finish off, is there a period of your life, you know, when you were doing the needle drop, when you were doing music journalism, that you were like, okay, maybe I should give up now? And what brought you back from that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm going through a tough time. I'm depressed as fuck. Part of me doesn't want to be here because I hate leaving the house. Every single time I have to look at my body full from top to bottom on a camera, I have like an out of body dysmorphic experience where I just hate looking at myself and I want to die. And it sucks and it makes me want to jump off a cliff, but I'll probably bounce back from it when I get home and just continue doing what I usually do.
Yeah, big time. Can I give you a hug? You a hugger?
No, I don't want to be touched right now, honestly, because when I feel myself get touched, it just reminds me of how fucking disgusting I feel in my physical form.
Since doing this show and seeing myself on video a lot, I think about it a lot, and yeah, it's not fucking cool. It's not nice. All artists must feel similarly. Black Country New Road were just talking about that.
Oh, okay, were they? Okay. Well, we're all relating on some level.
Absolutely. Hey, Anthony, thank you very much for the chat.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.